thing.
Sometimes she feels guilty for not having sex with a man that she's dating. And by dating, that doesn't mean you're in a relationship. It means you're getting to know this man. And I was like, I don't understand that. Like, where does the guilt come in? Like, what, like, so we're having like the deepest, a beautiful conversation about, do you want, like, did you actually desire to give this man your body? And she was like, well, no, it's that he did a couple of dates. Like, I feel like he deserves it. And that to me is the mindset inside of 2024 that is mind blowing to me, where people feel like, oh, because you took me on a couple of dates, now I owe you my body. And
a guy feels the same way, the obligation to himself.
Yeah, because he's a man.
To himself, like to his ego.
Yeah.
Right. So the man feels obligated to sleep with this woman at a certain amount of time because his ego is going to start telling him, like, bro,
she don't want me.
She don't want me. She don't want you. Any woman that ain't doing this and that matter, she don't want you. You know how dudes being, with little sunglasses on. Oh yeah, if a chick ain't did this, she don't want you, bro. Type. So all together, men feel obligated and women feel obligated for different reasons. But there is somewhat obligatory aspect to people sleeping with each other. And I think it's crazy.
Cass and Mr. Let Go being the guest on there. A deep dive. That's what we do here on Mental Dialogue. Appreciate, in a sense, where they're going. And I think a lot of what they're saying is a reality that, unless it's said out in the open like they've done, people don't think about that they may be moving just like what we just saw there. But any thoughts, Fila?
Yes, we don't know how to date. We don't know how to connect. And so much of our interactions are transactional. So if you give me something, I have to give you something. If you do something for me, I have to do something for you. If you don't give me something or do something for me from the man's perspective, then that means that she doesn't value me. She doesn't want me. As a woman, if I don't give it to him, then he's going to leave. He's going to get it from somewhere else. And, I'm surprised that the woman in the clip said she's mind blown in 2024, because this is not new. This is not a new concept, right? Women, physical appearance, aesthetic, our bodies have always been our currency when we had access to no other currency. So women have used their bodies for transactions in relationship for generations. So we know that. And men have followed their egos in relationships for generations. It's how we've been conditioned. But what it misses is the ability for us to actually get to know each other, to connect. This is why I have a touch timeline that I work with my clients, where there are specific touch points for kissing, for holding hands, for intimacy, which allows enough time for that man to come out of his ego, for his hormone levels, his vasopressin and testosterone to drop, and for her as a woman to get out of that story of unworthiness and I have to give him some cootie cat. Now it takes at least 90 days for y'all to be who you actually are and start having real conversations with the real person. But we have to get out of the mindset of transactional relationships and really get into the space of being connected and coming together. And we can only do that, Montoya, because of forums like this and conversations like this, where we are able to hear what each of us is experiencing and feeling and going through.
Yeah, that's the unexpected damage of moving into a dating era as a human race.
Right.
Like what we're talking about. So we have no choice but to navigate this new world. And like, again, we can't hold on to all of the traditions. We just need to get rid of the water, keep the baby, right?
Yeah.
Keep the baby. And so understand how this dynamic is going to change, because as much as a grandmother might have said, or a grandfather might have said, I waited till I was married. I'm like, you got married at 16, my grandma. What are you talking about? Like, if you got married at 36, you were not waiting until you were 36.
You'd have been busting it wide open, Grandma.
Yeah, come on now. You know what I'm talking about? So again, and what I want to highlight, because I forgot this when I played the very first cut for the show, also in capturing that very, very amazing cut that people have seen. When we're talking about all the trauma that it showed, I also wanted to highlight the need for people like you, relationship coaches. I did a show saying, like, why are there so many damn relationship coaches on Black? And on that show, a couple of the coaches just highlighted in the current times, because this is new times when you think about how long humans have existed on the earth. This is very new what we're doing when it comes to family structure. 50% of the country marries, 50% don't, which is very low just to 50 years ago, very low compared to 50 years ago, right? Yeah. And so these are all new times. So in the new times, what comes with it is, if you come out of a traumatic experience like we played in the first cut, it becomes a necessity to have a professional, a coach like yourself, because you're not able to learn, quote unquote, through osmosis by seeing the structure at home. So if that's not your reality, then we are figuring out ourselves, and figuring out all on our own leads to additional trauma, versus the necessity of a coach. So somebody might say, well, I don't know if I need that type of thing. And of course, like in every industries, there's people that know what they're doing, you know, and people who don't know what they're doing. Now, for anybody in my community, I'm only going to bring the Fila Antwines and people to that know what the hell they're doing to have these dialogues and understanding. So I'm just really highlighting the necessity of people like yourself in current times. And actually, it's almost a mistake to think you can do it from on your own, or just even with, as I highlight, not to knock this, but even just the spiritual counseling a lot of people will get right before marriage. And then unfortunately, the church want that money. If you get, they want that money too. So they're not going to say y'all don't go together. They're going to say, well, let's work on. And you're right there. And we usually go in to get the spiritual counseling when you've already decided to get married. Whereas in the Mental Dialogue Community Club, we highlight, go get a professional prior to that. Like while you're thinking that, okay, this is the one, this is dialogue, so they can see your blind spots and y'all can figure it out to make sure this is a thing you should move into. Because in the past, it would have been your family vetting, your entire family, making sure, like you know, in the West, we kind of confuse arranged marriages. They still are relatively successful in other parts of the world. Because of that vetting process of saying, I know that mother and father saying, I know my child. And as much as we're learning ourselves, we don't always know who we should be with as much as your parents who've seen you from day one saying, this is the person that'll best take care of this personality versus this personality in my family. Now we're doing it without that. And that's what coming into the marketplace, you still have to rely on the land that your father was going to give you. So you had to kind of listen to the family, even though we didn't have arranged marriages, you still had to listen to the family because you needed a plot of land to raise your family on. So that was gone once we moved from agriculture to an industrialized marketplace. So it all plays out into human evolution. We're just figuring it out. So people need you. Go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry for getting on my soapbox, but I just
no. You know, I love it when you just share and go and all that, because we need you in this space and your voice in this space. And I completely agree. Right? It was very literal, the impact that the marriage was going to have on the family. Here's the cows, here's the chickens, here's the land. So you saw how your family was benefiting from who you partnered with. It's not as literal now, and we've forgotten that it's still going to impact the children who come from this, the relatives that are seeing us, the people who are in this situation with us together as a whole. So back to how we started about getting out of the selfishness and the individualism that we have gotten into and dating transactionally. And when it comes to coaching and seeking support, anything that you want to do well, you want to learn it from someone who has a proven track record of doing that thing well. This is how we learn. Historically, we used to have spaces where the women went to have conversations with each other, to teach the young women how to be wives, how to be partners. Men would go out into the wild and have experiences that were solely for them, these rites of passage. We don't have that anymore. And so now we have to seek out individuals who still hold some of these keys. And so much of the work I do is about strategy and methodology, but it is also about spirituality. It's about legacy. It's about lineage and restoring those wounds that were created within our community, because we've always been a people who have learned from each other and taught each other and created rules and regulations. We taught everybody around the world how to bathe, how to cook, how to heal themselves, all of that. And we've forgotten it within our own dynamic now. So we absolutely need forums like this, and we need professionals to help us, because that's just how I'm the root worker now, right? The witch doctor now, those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
And it just takes on another form, but we absolutely need it.
And that's the dialogue, just putting it out there so more people like